Hey everyone, welcome back to another Minecraft video. And before you ask, yes, this is a different island because my computer hard drive I was using completely shot itself. So the first world is gone. But on the bright side, I didn't like that map much anyway. I think it was too many hills for an island, in my opinion. But from what I can see here, this one's nice and flat. And there's a weird bush with fireflies over there? Yeah, okay. But just like the first time, I have a little list of topics to talk about so there's no awkward silences. And that way I can keep y'all entertained. Please don't click off. Please, bro, I'm begging you. I will give you $5. Look at me. I'll give you $5. Alright? So in that case, one of the things that has been on my mind lately are podcasts. Podcasts are like, how do I explain this? I feel like watching a podcast or listening to it is a bad use of your time. And you could argue, ooh, but I like podcasts and I can listen to them while I drive to work. Yeah, well, guess what? Podcasts are doing exactly what I'm doing, except I have cool gameplay and an apple in the top right of my screen. So, why would you watch a podcast when you can just put on a video by yours truly instead? Or, I don't know, like Moist Critical or anyone really that you can watch for that type of information. Because with podcasts, you could say, well, you like what they talk about, right? But you can find anyone that on the internet that you'll like, right? If you just look around a little bit, you will find someone that you agree with on basically everything. So I'm gonna need a better excuse from you. What is that? Is that a turtle? No, it's just the ocean. Okay, lovely. Um, but as I was saying, why would you go watch a podcast? I just made a wood pickaxe when I was trying to make a wood axe. Okay, lovely. But I feel like I'm not alone on this. Like, I never understood the whole podcast thing. I've never listened to a podcast or sat down and watched one. I just don't get it, personally. And if you like them, all power to you. Right? I'm not judging. But I just don't understand it. Maybe I just haven't found someone that I like yet. But I don't know. The more I think about podcasts, the less I want to watch one. Because I could just talk to my friends about something instead. Or you watching this, could go talk to someone instead. And since you'll be talking to a friend, you're more likely to share their opinion, right? So I just don't get it personally. But and of course you have the outliers like the Joe Rogan podcast where you get really weird clips of him saying, "Hey Jamie, pull up this video," and they just get like some really random thing happening. But for like your average Joes, I don't get it. But then again, I'm a very visual person. So if I'm listening to someone talk, I want something to watch too. Like how you are watching me play Minecraft right now. That's more my type of style. So I never understood the whole thing of wanting to listen to someone talk while doing nothing. If you want to watch a video of someone playing, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That checks out. I get that. But then again, I just think a lot of podcasts are kind of boring, personally. Maybe I just haven't found the right one. Like how you can go find any YouTuber that you'll like. You can. That's the amazing thing about the internet, in my opinion, is you can find anything and anyone with all sorts of wild opinions. Like, there are people that will defend anything online. Like, there could be news that a murder happened, and you'll have a bunch of people online going, well, this guy was actually a Republican, so he deserved it. And then it turns into a huge debate. Personally, I have a very hot take. Murder is bad. I know, crazy, right? Controversial. Dislike the video, unsubscribe, leave a comment telling me how much I suck. It's all part of it. But the things that you can find on the internet have always blown my mind. Like, when I was younger, I used to view it as like this crazy place for like the most powerful minds to like share information and stuff, like how to fix a car, and like that one website that has every single letter in every single form in the world. I think it's called the Library of Alexandria. Don't quote me on that. But as I've gotten older, I realized this is just Dave in his mom's basement with Cheeto dust on his fingers, talking about how hot Twilight Sparkle is on Rule 34. I mean, the 180, the whiplash I got from that as I grew up was fascinating. It was really interesting to me. And of course, there are some cool things. Like, you'll have those channels that like go live out in the woods and dig like holes with sticks and stuff. The real ones, not the ones that use bulldozers. I remember that whole controversy that happened a while back, and if you don't remember, basically there's like these channels of these Indian dudes with sticks, or I don't know if they're Indian, it's random dudes, and they'll go out in the woods and they'll have a bunch of like camera shots of them digging like holes with sticks and using like bamboo as like pipes, and they'll make like these crazy things. But there was a huge controversy because there was a really big channel that did it. I think it was one of the main ones. Maybe it was the big channel. They got found out for using construction equipment because there was a bunch of bulldozer tracks all over the place. So they got in huge trouble for that. So it then led to them instead just going underground, and I never heard from them again. I don't know, maybe if they still make videos, let me know in the comments. I want to know. But there was one channel that actually did it, and you could tell he was doing it because it was very different, right? These channels, they're called like primitive survival or something. They take a stick and they just kind of whack the ground a bunch, and then you'd have a hole like this, and they'd be like, yeah, and then they have like little doors in the sides here, and like a little plaza. But the one guy that actually did it, it was very different. He would dig like a little hole, but it would only be like a foot deep, and then he'd use logs to make kind of like a triangle shelter, and he would hang out in this, right? So that's acceptable. I like that because it's real and it's good, and at the end of the day, like, that guy could say, yeah, I did that correctly, the way it's meant to be done. I didn't lie about it online or use. Also, that's the thing. I remember hearing too that with the bulldozer people, I could be wrong, but I think they also like harmed the environment like really bad. They would just leave a bunch of stuff all over the place when they were done and not clean up, which to me, that's insane. I don't know how people are comfortable with doing that. I feel really bad if I like leave a banana peel or an apple core somewhere, and I know that's okay. So I don't understand the switch up of people littering, and they're just okay with it. I feel horrible anytime I do, and then I end up going back and getting my trash. Like, I think one time when I was little, this picnic. It was literally in my backyard. And after like I came inside of my lunchbox, I realized, oh whoops, I completely forgot to get that one piece of trash. Now to anyone else, this is no big deal. You go back in your backyard, you look around, and you get the piece of trash. I started bawling. I was so upset because I thought I was littering. And I mean, technically I guess I was, but it's in my own backyard. But I was so upset over it that I didn't let myself do anything fun for like the rest of the day. I just kind of sat there in my room. And I was just really mad at myself. But that's just part of it, I guess, of being raised with any morals. But a completely different topic. If any of you know this in the comments, please tell me what's going on. What is the 6'7" meme? Like, oh, it's 6'7". I feel like an old person because I don't get it. I really don't get it. I think I'm missing something, or I'm not too sure, honestly. But the whole joke just makes zero sense to me. Is it absurdist humor? If it's absurdist humor, I think that's the worst absurdist humor I've ever seen in my entire life. Because normally there's some aspect of humor to it. But the numbers 6 and 7 don't make sense to me. Like, at least with the 69, it's like a reference to like sex, you know. So okay, that makes sense. Like, oh, sex funny. But 6'7" just makes no sense to me. I just don't get it. And I feel like a really old man. But then again, my little sister and my little brother will tell me all these stories about kids from their schools. And I'm very glad to not be in that age group anymore. Because it was stupid whenever I was their age, and it's still stupid now. Like, the fights, and the drama, and everything that would happen in middle school and high school. I did not have a good time in high school. I'll say it. A lot of people talk about, oh yeah, man, high school was so cool. High school was so much fun, and it was awesome. No. Not for me, at least. I hated it. Like, I genuinely did not like high school. Shoot me. Sue me. I just never... I wasn't really popular or anything. And I guess I'm not popular now. But that's okay. Because I don't want to be popular. But what really sucked was getting messed with and kind of picked on every day because I wasn't popular. Like, I feel like if I had a better reputation around school, I would not have disliked it nearly as much. But instead, I would either fly under the radar, or I would get, I don't want to say bullied, but patronized? I don't know. People would always kind of talk to me like I was an idiot, which I never appreciated that, because I might not have the absolute best grades, but I'm definitely no idiot. So it kind of makes me upset whenever someone treats me like one, because if you're taking everything I am, everything I've got in my brain, and boiling it down to just how much of a grade you have in a class, it's a little dehumanizing. You stop being who you are, and you just kind of become numbers, letters. And personally, I'm not a big fan of that. I know, crazy, right? Who would think that I would not like being dehumanized? But I don't think anyone does, personally. I know, crazy, right? It's just a question of how much can you tolerate it. Because some people don't mind nearly as much as others. Some people subscribe to the ideology that at the end of the day, people are going to say what they're going to say. What? Okay, I guess. I don't know what that was. Maybe there's a person in the caves underneath this island. Maybe it's a man named Frank. Yeah, we got Frank in the walls over here. Sweet. So, I completely lost track of what I was saying. But luckily, I have this little checklist right here of things to talk about. Like, COVID-19. I wonder if I still get in trouble on YouTube for saying that. Probably not, because this video is not getting monetized. But a lot of people complained about COVID-19. And I have a couple things to mention about it. I actually liked it. I really liked the lockdown. Because it just gave me an excuse to not go outside. I am not a very big outside person. I don't play sports, and I don't really do a whole ton outside. So whenever I was told, oh no, everyone has to stay inside for the next couple weeks when it started, I was all game. We got off school, and it was the end of the year, so school just ended that day, which was really cool. But then it turned into a month, then 2 months, then 3 months. And if you're watching this, then you already know about it, so I don't need to explain it. I will say, it did start getting really annoying. Not because I had to stay inside, I didn't mind that part, but simply because some people would just refuse to put on masks. Look, you can disagree with the mask thing. I don't know how that turned political, but it did. Just put on the mask, man. It's not that deep. It takes you 2 seconds to put on a mask, and it does not limit breathing. You can say, ooh, it makes it harder for me to breathe. No, it doesn't. Because doctors wear it for literal hours at a time in surgeries, and if doctors are passing out due to oxygen deprivation, I feel like that'd be more of an issue. So you can complain about it as much as you want, but the masks were never the problem. It was the people. Because you'd also have people that would just refuse to not interact. You'd have people that knew they were sick, and they would still go and interact with others. And in my mind, that's crazy. I get like a strep throat, I get a cough, I get a cold, and I seal off any human interaction because I don't want to get anyone sick. So the fact that people are so just comfortable doing that blows my mind. I felt too bad. Anytime I would be sick, I'd always feel horrible, knowing there's even a chance I could get someone else sick. But I guess there's just different kinds of people around. I feel like lately, people have become more selfish. We don't have as much empathy as we did before. Is that a spider over there? I actually need those. Because unless I can find a sheep, then string is going to be my only way of getting wool. Okay. Maybe I could put like a house on stilts in the middle of this cove for later. That could be a pretty cool idea. Sun's coming up. But I never understood that of people getting more desensitized as time goes on. I mean, maybe I'm just a boomer complaining about how these darn kids today and their social medias and their Instagrams. But I feel like there is genuinely detrimental effect on society that social media is having. It alienates us from one another, and it desensitizes people to important stuff. Like if someone gets murdered, that used to be a big deal. People would talk about how horrible it was. But now, they just ask what, like, if they were trans, or if they were Republican. They ask about unimportant questions whenever a life was lost. I don't know, if I died, and upon hearing the news, people immediately started asking, like, what ethnicity and what political, like, where I was politically, I'd be rolling in my grave. I'd be offended. Because that stuff shouldn't matter. It's... Someone was killed. And you're asking about that? Get your head on straight, people. Please. Ooh, maybe I could turn this island into like a little farmland. But the reason why I'm talking about this is the thing that happened recently with a certain political figure that likes to debate college students got shot and killed. Now, I didn't see the video. I avoided it. But I heard it was really gruesome. And it did not look good at all. And there were people cheering upon hearing about his death. There were people saying, I always hated him. Or, like, they made fun of him for being a Republican. And, like, supporting the Second Amendment and stuff. Which, is it ironic? Yeah, I can see the irony of him supporting the Second Amendment and getting shot by protecting the Second Amendment. Okay. Yeah. Which, if you're not from America, Second Amendment is what gives Americans the right to have guns. It's the right to bear arms. So that lets us have guns and shoot them and all that kind of stuff. So I see the irony. I do. But at the same time, Firefly? What is this? Oh, the little dots of the fire. Oh, okay. That's neat. I didn't know that. I didn't even know that was in the game. But if... What kind of blows my mind about that is, if it was a Republican, or no, if it was a liberal, would they still be cheering? Probably not. Which, it really breaks my heart. Because instead of actually focusing on important issues, instead we're just kind of hearing, we're killing each other. And then, whenever we hear someone got killed, the first question we ask is, were they Republican or liberal? Were they a man or a woman? Were they white or black or Hispanic or Asian or whatever they are? Which, I feel like that really doesn't matter, personally. Because at the end of the day, a victim got shot and killed, or stabbed, or hung, or choked out, or anything. But instead, you want to make this a political thing and start bringing up ethnicity and, like, social class, like if they're poor or not. I feel like that really doesn't matter, personally. But I don't know, maybe I'm crazy for saying that. Also, the crafting table. Okay, I want to make this beach home base for now. So that way we can have like a good little safe spot to hang out at. And that way at nighttime we can go down into that little hole I dug and be safe. At least until we get a bed. Which the bed will probably take a while, folks. I will not lie. But we can wait. We got time. I remember one of my friends, after they saw the first video, they said, well, why aren't you going faster? Like, you ended the video and you didn't do much. Well, here's the thing. I could speedrun progression, but that's boring. So I think we should take our time. The adventure's in the journey and not the destination, right? Because people complain that there's nothing to do in Minecraft, which, that's just wrong. Because the same people will go out of their way to get full protection 4 diamond armor or netherite armor in one day, and then complain that they have nothing to do. The game is about creation and building and creativity. So when you suck all of the creativity out of the game, it's gonna be boring. Because it's not a game about fighting and getting loot. It's a game about building a little lighthouse. Or growing a farm. Here, can I use this? Not really. But it's always baffled me how people will think that the game is not fun anymore because there's too many things. And I kind of agree with the sentiment, but it's not because the game has gotten more stuff added. It's because we got older. Right? When I played this game as a little kid, there was endless amounts of stuff for me to do. And the game is still fun now. It's just not, I'm not having as amazing of a time as I had when I was younger. But that's because when you get older, life starts to slow you down. You have more stress, bills to pay, jobs to work, college essays to write if you're a college student. So it makes sense that you won't be able to enjoy something as much. But that doesn't mean the game has lost its touch. If you listen to the music right now, I mean, this is the type of stuff that I would be listening to when I was younger, right? So the game still has its touch. You just need to find it again. Now that being said, the one thing I don't like about this game is these stupid leaves all over the place. These little brown leaves, I hate these. I don't like them. They don't look all that great to me. I think these look good, like the falling leaves from the tree, like that. That looks amazing. I love it. But this, I don't like this. But then again, that's just not my type of thing to look at. But I feel like this is a good place to end off the first video. Sun's going down. And I'll start the next video whenever it turns daytime. So, see you everyone. Have a nice day. And go outside, touch some grass. Now get out of here.